All right, so we are going to begin our session. We do have Vaidya Meenakshi who's going to join us shortly. But in the meantime, I would like to welcome everybody watching us and everybody present with us here right now. This is a session that's being held in celebration of and in recognition of World Ayurveda Day, and this is the 10th Ayurveda Day being recognized globally. And I'll just give a brief introduction on myself before I introduce our speakers for today. So my name is Sarah, and I work with the Center for Ayurveda and Indian Systems of Healing, also known as KESH, which is based in Ontario in Canada. And KESH is a 23-year-old institution. It's an educational institution as well as a wellness and health clinic. And I'm proud to be representing KESH here today on this very important occasion. We have been joined by speakers as well as KESH faculty members and alumni and students as well for the next 2 hours. And just to begin with, I have the pleasure of introducing Vaidya Jaisri. And for anybody who's tuning in who may not be familiar, I'll share my understanding of the term Vaidya, which is doctor or physician taken from Sanskrit. And yes, and so I would like to invite Vaidya Jaisri to just please introduce herself, and yeah, I'll let you go ahead.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, before a brief introduction, let us do a little chant to Sri Ganesh together. Om Om Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamastravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Shrunvanu Tibini Siddhasadanam Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam kurume deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada siddhi buddhi shakti sahita shriman mahaganadipataye namo namaha nirvignam kuru. So, in remembrance of my teacher, Dr. Lad, Sri Ganesh is his Ishta Devata. So, these are the influences on my Ayurveda journey. I first came to Ayurveda in my mid-30s. I'm now in my later 70s. So most of my adult life, I've been captivated by the Ayurveda, the knowledge of all of life. I couldn't imagine as a child born in Scotland, growing up in British Columbia, Vancouver, BC, Canada, that I would ever imagine a life as an Ayurveda practitioner, Ayurveda physician. However, Destiny had her own ideas, and slowly, I came to master the topics that Dr. Ladd was conveying, the pulse reading, the herbal formulations, the dietary factors, lifestyle factors. Of course, it's always in a spiritual context because this is the journey of the soul, and that's I suppose the reason why Ayurveda came to me as a Westerner. I actually did not really have any ambition to become a doctor, but my teacher was so compelling a presence that I wanted to be all the time in his company. Sattvic company, pure-minded company, pure-hearted, unconditional love, and tremendous depth of knowledge, sheer knowledge of the Vedas and Vedanta and all Shaddarshans, all the philosophies underlying Ayurveda. And so he inspired me to go into clinical practice internationally, US, Canada, mostly. And though nowadays with internet, there are people from all over the world seeking the Ayurveda knowledge. So I came back to Canada after being in California for 15 years or so, uh, with the intention of taking over my father's end of life care. He was 90 at the time, and he lived to 97. And he got off most of the 11 pills that he was taking at the time, and eventually came to a beautiful, peaceful death. And still today, it's inspiring me with the Canada Ayurveda Research and Education Foundation, CARE Foundation, which is having one of our projects as training of elder home care aides to go into homes to support community members in their parents' aging process. So let's leave it at that for now. I'm sure I could say more about myself, but we want to get on with the content and go into the reason why we're here together.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Vaidya, Jaisri. I would love to welcome Vaidya, Meenakshi. Namaste and welcome. We're so happy to see you. And I would just love for you to be able to introduce yourself as well. We would love to hear about your background and what brought you into Ayurveda. And I'm sorry, Vidya Meenakshi, we can't hear you. If you could unmute yourself.
Oh, my bad. This is the first time I'm using this platform. So, and seriously, we still have problems with the new text. Okay, so I'm Dr. Meenakshi Joshi. Yeah, in India, we call doctors Vaidya, who are in Ayurveda. That is the traditional term. And for last 30 plus years, because I finished my graduation, my degree in 91. In 92, I got my internship and house job done and my registration certificate with me. So you can say like, yeah, 92 should be the right. So yeah, long time, though we are not getting old for sure. So it's long time now. And how I came to the practice, because my grandmother was head of the village during British time, and she was a Vaidya, and I belong to the Brahmin family in India, and most of the times they will be the teaching faculties. They will be teaching, So in my grandparents' home, I have seen the handwritten books, yeah. So that was how it was, and but the next generation was all in the different fields, and my mom was always like, she has seen her mother treating patients with the conjunctivitis, burn patients, and how my grandmother will be doing the putta. I don't know how much you know about medicine making. So she will be preparing the putta medicine, minerals and all bhasmas and by herself. So she decided that I should be in Ayurveda stream. Though I was, at 16, 17, you have no clue where the world is going on. So she put me in that. And slowly, I think this is the beauty of Ayurveda, that as you grow, it grows. Your knowledge grows. I'm sure you all are in Ayurveda. You know what I mean, right? It's on the surface here, and the same thing, you can go to the levels deeper, 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 and it's not that somebody will be teaching you. It's your own levels. You keep on growing with it. The things you are taking right now here, when you start your thoughts process start getting mature, you will be getting more deeper into it, right? So then I when I started learning, and I was like, oh my god, this is a different understanding of the world. And my whole family is in allopathy medicine. My husband is a doctor, is a you can say like a brigadier in the Indian Army, but a doctor. And my brother is a cosmetic surgeon. He's a super specialist. And yeah, all gynecologists and all families of doctors only. And I'm the only one who is in Ayurveda. So, but yeah, influence is there because my whole family, particularly my parents, if anything happens, they will just call me. They will not call anybody else. They will tell me about something in Ayurveda. We don't want to listen to the other things. So that is how our traditional families are in India. That we will be first we will be checking if there is a natural remedy for it. Okay, so about my journey. So I finished my graduation, and my husband was in Himalayas. So like 11 years, I was working with the small clinic and villagers and NGOs, lot of NGOs I worked with. And after 10 years, leaving my two small boys with my mom, I was again back for my post graduation in Karnataka, KMC, Kasturba Medical College, Manipal. And from Manipal, they sent us to this Thames Valley University for teaching faculty. So we will be going there for some teaching stuff for BSc honors in Ayurveda students. So that's how I was more into the teaching, and because of my husband's rotating jobs, I was never like on a permanent place all the time. So I was more into teachings with the NGOs and seminars, workshops, this kind of things more. Though my specialization is in Panchakarma, but but I'm teaching a lot. And then for last 10 15 years I was stable in Gurugram, and there I was having my own teaching faculty, center, you can say, teaching clinic. And I have students from almost all over the world. And I was visiting a lot in Europe and the USA with some of the Ayurveda companies who will be calling me. For last 12 years, this was the scene. And we shifted to Toronto when my boys from USA shifted here. You know, so now we have a home here in Danforth area, and yeah, I'm here. So doing the same stuff, volunteers, helping, and online teaching. Yeah, so this is what I am doing these days. And I have proper modules like, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, according to the Western point of view, because my teaching does not include too much of heavy Hindi and English, Sanskrit words, because it is not a language. Health and Ayurveda is not a language. It's not about a country. It's not about a certain religion. It's not about, it's about just being there. It's about the life, right? So whatever language you're comfortable with, I always say that's that is the point. It's not about with the limited things. So yeah, I developed for last 15 years I was in teaching, so I developed the grades. And many of my students are having their own centers in Germany, Japan, USA, and many countries. Yeah, I had some students as doctors also, proper allopathic doctors from different countries who studied Ayurveda and understood. So yeah, that was about me, little bit. Yeah, it's a long journey.
That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Vaidya, Meenakshi. We're so happy all your journeys led you Toronto. We're very happy
I
to.
know, I know. For last 30, 35 years of, roaming all over India and all over the world, uh, I don't know how many times to USA, like every second year or 1 year, once or twice I will be here. But I never thought of coming to Canada. I don't know why.
It is cold.
It never happened. Yeah, so that is how I just leave it to the destiny where it will take.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so
But yeah, nice meeting all of you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
I would like to actually pick up from something that you mentioned about the global reach of Ayurveda, that it's not based in or necessarily tied to one part of the world or one language. And it's accessible to everybody, and that's the theme of this of today's Ayurveda Day is Ayurveda for the people and for the planet.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask both of you, both of our highly esteemed speakers here, is um, to share what that means to you, but also a reflection on maybe where Ayurveda is today in the global community of practitioners. Like what can we take away from this? Those of us who are studying or being treated in Ayurveda is for the people and for the planet. In what way was it always meant to be for the people and the planet, or what way has this science and art of healing become global or environmentally friendly? In whatever way this resonates, my question resonates with you, I would love to hear from both of you. And I'll start with Vaidya Jaisri, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, it is the timely question. That is to say, we are in modern times, 2025, with the global conditions, the global needs, the um, absence of access to holistic health care by and large. And we're also considering the depth of heritage and history, 10,000 years of known history. But we can surmise that even the first beings were using plant medicine. They were observing their environment. They were beginning to cognize. So rishis from India doing intense meditation practice, intense internal purifications to sort of download this matrix, this Ayurveda model of life that is explained through the Sankhya philosophy, Vaisheshika philosophy. These are the underpinnings, the nyaya, that the underlying thought processes that we know from the rishis, that these principles that they have realized and expounded upon, described, and sent in the oral tradition through the generations, even till now, are unchanged. The Panchamahabhutas, five great constructing elements of the individual and the macrocosm, remain the same. The ether, the space in which we exist, the air that we breathe, the processes that we go through. Fire stands for transformation. So outwardly, that may be manufacturing. Inwardly, it may be digestion, hormonal management. And the water element, look at what has happened to our oceans and waterways and how that has affected that we are 85% plus water in composition. And then earth element, the planet on which we live. So people and planet, really, here we are today trying to learn the accumulated tremendous knowledge. Can we do it in one lifetime? Even Dr. Lad says, I think I need another incarnation to master Ayurveda. Okay? So what comes with that message is the spiritual factor. If meditation is the first and last medicine of Ayurveda, still today, it is the first and last and the most important investment is the spiritual investment, the personal relationship to the divine. I think from there, this global reach, the fact that we are one small planet and we have limited soil, we have limited pure water sources. we have to use them wisely. Ayurveda is a science of wisdom in living, day-to-day living, day-to-day routines and seasonal choices and so forth. And the application of wisdom has come from observing nature since time immemorial, so that now today we can just say, okay, these are the 5 gate constructing elements. Now I know how to create order and understand these terms, vata, pitta, and kapha, the 3 critical words for us Westerners to open the door into the vastness of Ayurveda. So yeah, today is a great opportunity. Shri Dhanvantari Day and International Ayurveda Day and solstice and new moon and Navaratri starting, and so many wonderful features of today and now, which is most important. So I think that's a little summary. I hope that answers a bit.
Absolutely. And Vaidya, Meenakshi, you may go ahead as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you, Jaisri ji. There was a wonderful way of understanding. Yeah. So I think your question was about Ayurveda Day and how it is going to impact the modern society, right?
Yes, and the theme of today's Ayurveda Day, which is for people and for the planet, and
For the
maybe yes,
ecosystem also.
and what we should
Yeah.
think that
Yes.
means.
Yes. It's the same like what she was telling. See, in Ayurveda and in our old thinking is the aham brahmandasmi, right? That is the mantra that this brahmand universe, sorry, I should say in Hindi, not in Hindi but English, this universe is in me and I am in this universe. So somehow we have this little thing here. So it teaches us all the selfishness, greed, possessiveness, and not thinking about the others or about the whole scenario. But somehow, this is not the case. This is not the case because whatever we are is the universe, right? If anything happening in the universe is going to affect us, anything happening inside us collectively is going to harm the universe, right? So it will be never that the human is the superior race and everything should be moved towards benefiting us. It should not be there. We will finish because as now I think this is the best time to understand that aham brahmandasmi, this Brahman, this universe is in me. This is the right time because maybe they are talking about the green footprints and carbon emissions, this and that, ozone depleting, so many wildlife is spoiling. Even I was checking that the common salt, they are saying don't buy sea salt now because that's what we have done. They are saying because we are fasting these days. Today is the second day for fasting. We worship mother creativity, ma. So that is the mother. So we worship the creative power of this universe in these days for 7 days. And I when I checked, oh my god, so you are fasting, you should not take sea salt. I was like, okay, let me go and find the rock salt. But reason is that because sea water is so polluted right now, so much polluted right now. And they are saying that even these plastic in the sea is harming the telomere or the genetic structure of the embryo inside you. That's what we have done. That's what we have done. It's the time that we need to start understanding that go beyond yourself. So if this universe will be healthy, you will be healthy. If you are going to spoil everything else, wiping out the species, going too much with the pesticides and this and that. You are thinking that you are killing certain things which you don't need, but you don't see the whole picture. You have no idea what is the whole scenario, how everything is going to help each other, right? That is how the ecosystem is, and we are spoiling it. So yeah, this is a very beautiful way of understanding Ayurveda, that less without this somebody's talking about ozone, somebody's talking about save the tiger, somebody's save the whale, save this universe, save yourself, actually, right? Save your next generations. What we are going to leave behind, we are going to leave behind the mess for the next generation, how they are going to survive with this kind of bad air, bad water, bad food to eat. They are like, because the world is going to be complicated in future, and with so much of spoiled things already, so we may finish sooner than we expected, right? So yeah, this is a very beautiful aspect that some people started understanding, and maybe Ayurveda Day is a wake up call that have some do something for yourself and do something for this planet and for your next generations. Maybe they will say thank you to you, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. I want to go off of that and ask my next question. You did comment about environmental harm and the harm that that can do to an individual, and also about protecting ourselves and our environments for future generations. There's something that's been on my mind a lot within my generation, and also, of course, children and at all ages. But there's a what I detect as an explosion of mental health diagnoses and mental health conditions.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you both about that in terms of what is your experience with witnessing this, with treating this? What sorts of tools can we adopt? And what is the Ayurvedic perspective on what I think now has become very mainstream in terms of diagnosis, like ADHD, autism, various other sorts of conditions. So I just wanted to ask you if you could shed some light on what your experience is, as well as the Ayurvedic perspective on these things. And I'll add a little note that what I've sensed amongst people from my generation is a little bit of anxiety around feeling that these conditions or these neurological descriptions define us, and that's it, and this is it, and I want to ask for some tools to feel empowered rather than boxed in. And Vaidya, Jaisri, I'll start with you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, this is a beautiful question. It's a very deep question. Actually, it's a very holistic question as well, because it does speak to the body, mind, and consciousness, the importance of all three being in integrated balance, according to Ayurveda, the world's oldest holistic medical science. And because of inclusion of the mental state, the emotional state, the spiritual state, as part of the initial evaluation of the Vaidya, the Ayurveda practitioner will begin to understand these factors before suggesting any corrective measure, because it has to land, it has to work, it has to be received. And receptivity, our society, our Western society, we are rather agnostic. We are rather secular. And it is really a time in life where is God for the general population and the average child growing up? Is it the television? Where is God? Is God the money? And then you're an adult. Is God science? See, Western science, I call That's my joke about Western science as compared to Ayurveda science, the vastness, the philosophies of how to come to a conclusion. What is a diagnosis? Um, what is a way of understanding our way out? This was my case. I came to Ayurveda with migraine. So migraine is a disturbance of the structural system, digestive system, hormonal system, mental system, emotional factors. It's a dietary problem. It's a digestive problem. It's a lifestyle problem. It's pervasive. So I had to learn a lot about each of these and how to integrate these instead of thinking of them as separate systems, how to think of them as my entire life, my entire purpose, which I believe is a spiritual purpose of self-realization. I think the purpose of life is the same for everyone, but we practice a different profession according to our talents, abilities, and our karmic need for service. Then I think these environmental factors, ecological factors are our society, nature around us. Many of us are urbanites now. And so seeking out nature, either we need a nice big backyard, either we need parks nearby, we need ability to go out in the water, on the ocean or by the water. And we need opportunities to ground ourselves with plants, trees, and other aspects of our ecology. Because like you said, what is the difference? Where is the line of demarcation between the microcosm and the macrocosm? No, there really isn't any. Now, when we develop these mental disorders, I think the root cause is because we don't have the philosophical factors, but there are, of course, environmental factors. And this autism is a new term, a relatively new term, ADHD. These terms, ADHD particularly, was developed as a way to number, how FDA in the US has pharmaceuticals by number. Okay. And so you need a number. So if you're going to create a new category of drugs, you need a number and a name. So attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Well, let us look from an Ayurveda perspective. We take it much more as a holistic aspect or expression of the, certainly the considerations of genetics, gestation. Ayurveda is queen for that, to understand how to create optimum conception, optimum gestation, optimum birth process, optimum postpartum as well, the first year of the child's life, the first 10 years. It's very documented. What are the best practices for optimizing the lifespan? So as a child, of course, I never had that. Growing up in Vancouver, beautiful place to grow up, but completely devoid of Ayurveda wisdom. So understanding as a Westerner, having learned Ayurveda from this point of view, to reorder my mind from a Westernized mind into a holistic mind through the grace of the Ayurveda. And then we can situate what happens. Why do we have schizophrenia? How can we interpret that there's Vata type of schizophrenia, the auditory hallucination? There's Pitta type of Pitta type as well, which is visual disturbances, visual hallucinations, seeing things that other people don't see. Then there's the Kapha type of schizophrenia, the kinesthetic type, which is the feeling, like the creepy crawlies from detoxifying from alcohol, for example, the DTs, the delirium tremens. So now we can see where the dominances of the dosha are and treat accordingly. What are the priorities? How do we go about restoring Vata channels, the respiratory channels, channels of movement, channels of elimination? And mentally, this is where anxiety comes in, that people are very prone to anxiety these days. I think perhaps a lack of faith in the community as a whole, so that we can find our spiritual path within. So fortunately, Ayurveda offers many, many tools. The dinacharya, the daily routine, the daily practices to reverse this effect from preceding causes. Right? Everything is an effect. It has an antecedent cause. We want to determine that cause and work to remove it. And so we do that by introducing new actions, new karmas, new practices, new daily decisions, morning routine, main meal at lunch, early to bed. These are the practices that can help keep a balance in the body and mind, so that when it comes time to deal with the various griefs, the various rages, and the various terrors that can come to our lives, and various gradations of each of those. But nonetheless, they need management, and we need management tools. If it was in our public health system to have a choice, as in India, between, say, allopathic and Ayurvedic, and you go to the same clinic and you have a holistic file for maybe there's a homeopathist on staff, maybe there's physiotherapy. So like that, we want truly an integrated model. And I think that helps. But for these mental disorders, this is where meditation is the first and last. Medicine is unequaled. It's free. It's available. It's not at all elusive. You don't need a method. You can just sit quietly, focus at your third eye, and watch your breathing and watch your mind relax. Watch it become empty. Watch it begin to obey you instead of walk you around. So I think these mental health conditions, this has been my principal interest personally in Ayurveda, growing up with mental illness in my family right from childhood. So I saw very much intimately the management of mental disorders with chemical medicine. And I find it utterly fragmented personally, because having studied Ayurveda a little bit, I have the notion that only a holistic approach can help. We can't just give a pill. Show me a pill which can remove bipolar disease. I'm sorry, it suppresses, it does not heal a thing. Let us go to Ayurveda for healing.
Vaidya, Meenakshi, would love to hear from you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so as Veda Jaisri is telling, that asatamya indriyarth sanyog, that is, we call it sensory abuse, right? That for the mind problems, mental issues, that is the number one cause, right? So asatamya indriyar se yog means that the relationship is either overused, misused, or less used, right? Problem of this today's world is that we have bombardment of everything on us, so much of to see, so much to absorb, so much to understand, so much to look, right? So we are forgetting everything. And when we were talking about the darshanas also, in darshana we say that the world is dual. If there will be light, there will be darkness too, right? So we try to balance, but everything is now on us, right? Everything is just too much on us. So this way our health is going to spoil, because the doshas, we think that the coin has just one face, but we forget that it is the two face and the coin is same. So in Ayurveda we say that this is physical health and this is mental health. If you think that your mental health is having problem these days and no problem with physical health, you are good. So no, sooner or later you will have the physical health issues also. Same way, if you have physical health issues, and you think that mentally you are very good, sooner or later you are going to give up. This side of yours will crash down, you know. So it's not that one thing should be good. So what we were talking, that she was also telling, first is too much sensory abuse on us. So somewhere we need to find that what we are doing too much. As you were talking about ADHD, so let's talk about ADHD first. For small children, we, as soon as they are a little bit, they can just see the moving things, we put screens on them, right? We put some sugary things in their mouth to just console them. So it's not required. We need to stop this practice first. That too much of sensory stimulation with the gadgets, with the TV screens, with the mobiles, we need to stop that. Right? I have seen very small kids who are like 1 or 2 year old. They will not eat food if they are not watching that cartoons or anything, or these days is Insta reels. So the you know, so we need to stop somewhere there. And then the food, whatever we are eating, too much of sugars in every market food. So there we need to cut down the salts and sugars, right? Normal home cooked food we need to provide to the kids. Abusive words, right? Too much of bad language if they keep on hearing. And then yeah, we missed a very big point here, is that uh, before pregnancy planning, in Ayurveda we say that you need to have a proper garb plan. And in Ayurveda, you will be so surprised that these people were so aware of epigenetics and all those things, that you can actually manipulate your genes before birth, right? So who I will suggest, whoever is having this history of anxieties, ADHDs in family, or any kind of mental health issues, they, for the next generation, they should plan, they should plan the baby. So there is a proper regime for the man. There is a proper uh, mm, um, how I should say that, like a dinacharya or ritucharya or routine for women, what to eat, what not to eat, what kind of mental activities you need to do, right? Now researchers are proving all these things, that music for what kind of spiritual behavior, what kind of thanksgiving, what kind of gratitude, and the woman is going to have a very mentally stable and healthy baby, right? So yeah, so this is one thing. And then sensory overload, as we were talking, that too much of one kind of food, too much of even smells. When we talk of aromatherapy, we say less is more, less is more, less is more, right? Because it just make your mind chemistry completely confused. So very little smells which can connect you with something. That's how I teach my students how to do meditation, because there is no specific way. I will always tell them the select particular smell for particular emotion, right? One smell for one particular emotion, and it will be helpful. So just keep one smell for meditation, one smell for your night sleep, and make your babies raise like that only, that when they are going to sleep, so they can identify that smell from childhood time, that this is the smell and I need to sleep, right? So because the brain has this memory, and it can repeat itself very easily in the same routine. So we can identify ourselves with the small things, with small emotions. And this is the way you can just check if the baby or the child is going on the right track. And then yeah, in my practice I have seen for last 20 years, even in India or USA, I have more patients from USA. I have seen this a whole shift. Now, nobody is talking about the health issues. Everybody is having so much mental issues. I will say 90% and more people come with the mental health issues. I have seen very less people coming to, with the other problems, but mental health issues. So it's on rise. And as I told you that for last 30 years, I have a whole diaspora, people from every continent. What I understood is this land, Canada and USA, is more vata prone land. It's huge, windy, so it's a vata prone land. And then people, I don't know from where they learned this, in the morning smoothies, black coffees, I don't know where they are learning all this. So there is no comfort. No comfort in the relationships, no comfort at home, no comfort in job, no comfort in food, right? And then we try to find the solution, the bad food, and then we try to find in the relationship. Bad relationship we try to find in the food comfort, right? So it's a it's a complete cycle that we are trapped in, because our body need comfort, and the body does not understand from where it is coming. It's coming from the relationship or it's coming from the food. It just needs something, right? So where relationships are lacking, we will just put more food for to make us happy, right? And where food is more, so relationships we will be that will be suffering. So this, particularly this land, is more vata, I suppose, as India is more kapha. So, but now this world is changing for sure. It's no more same, but still, yeah, I can say that we need to take care of vata here. Right, too much of dryness, too much of sattva is there in mind, I will say. Sattva is there in mind more here. People are more helpful, more easy to help others, and more easy not to cross the boundaries. That is for sure there, which is of course a vata quality. Of course, a vata quality, right? But the thing is that when it can go overboard, you don't know. Right. So that is one thing you can do. And for anxieties and all those things, I say that, like we were talking, we need grounding. I always say for my clients who are coming for the some kind of session, that after every 45 minutes, take a break. Take a break. Just lose your body and just deep breathe. Okay, so with the just 4 or 5 deep breath, you can just release and just relax, right? Because just too much in the mind. After 45 minutes, they say that your mind stopped working. You are just pretending, right? You need a break. So these are the small things we can do to stop this. And for the next generation, for sure, we have to follow the garbacharya for the pregnant woman, and that will be really helpful. Yeah,
Thank
if I
you,
miss
Vidya.
something, you can ask.
Yes, thank you, Vidya. Meenakshi, that was, there's so many things I could ask you as a follow-up, but of course we have just 10
Yeah,
minutes left.
time is a limit. Otherwise,
Yeah.
one topic is yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was so remarkable, the whole going over different stages of life and recognizing that the land we're on has high vata and the practices that we do can aggravate that further.
Yeah.
If I can just ask you a quick follow-up question, because you spoke about gestational period, about different kind of routine for those stages of life. Can you speak a little bit to menstruation and menopause as well, in terms of anything you like, the overarching trends you might have seen and what women are experiencing
Mm,
here, and maybe a tool or trick to be healthier in those phases?
Yeah, I think here girls are eating too much of sugars and not following the sleep routine. That is one thing which I will say, that if just this much you can do, and rest, I know the life is very difficult, here, yeah, more problems can happen for sure. That is unavoidable, and it's a big topic again, and related to different person who is going through around what type of problems. But overall, for everybody, I will say to follow a good, healthy and fresh diet, like whole grains, or good fruits, good vegetables. That I will suggest for the girls, and cut down your caffeine, alcohol, and sleep in time. So I think these three things will put your hormones into a well placed body, and you will not suffer from the hormonal shocks. And same for the menopausal woman, because menopausal women also, I think, um, earlier days, people will have menopause, and nobody will even notice, right? It will so smooth transition. But nowadays, everybody is like, oh, I'm going through menopause, so I do this, and this is my right. I'm doing this, and this is normal. I'm not criticizing, and I am not cornering anybody, but anything which is not natural, it should be somewhere we need to look at it. That somewhere something is wrong. Let us put it in. Some people, of course, suffer for sure. Right, lots of hormonal problems are there, but we need to find a solution for that, and we need to minimize it. So best thing is that you any again, vata and pitta is high during this time for anger, anxieties. And I what I have seen in recent timings, everybody is like, oh, I'm having going to have menopause, and I'm putting on weight. They are like so much focused on the weight that they stop thinking about their body. It's a transition. Even a few days back, I was talking on phone with a patient, and I was telling her, she was like, I'm 54, 55, something like that, and I'm putting on weight. I said, right now till 60 years of age, when the hormone is coming down, do not focus on weight. Of course, you should not be like become a pumpkin, not like that, but 4 5 kgs here and there doesn't matter. So instead of focusing on weight, uh, you know this is the time when cardiac health issues, cancer problems, and high blood pressure, diabetes will happen. Worry about that. Do not keep just one focus. Anyway, the weight should be down, the weight should be in control. Weight will stabilize very soon. As soon as this shift will stop, the weight, you can focus on weight. But this is the time when maximum health problems arise. People, somebody will develop cancer, somebody will have cardiac problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, right? So this is the time we need to focus on the diet, lifestyle, dinacharya. And uh, see, in Ayurveda we have stages of life. After 50 years is the pitta is slowly coming down, but for a woman there is a spike. From 50 to 75, we say that is the time for pitta and vata. And then finally you are in vata stage. But this is this is just an average bracket. It can be less or more for some person, but 50 to 75 is the time there is a big shift. So same like in our time, you have lots of problem. Same will happen here too. And once we transition from this, in a perfect body and perfect mind, the rest 20, 25, 30 years will be very smooth. So first thing, this time women have to understand that we need to accept ourselves, right? We still want to compete with somebody, 25 or 30. That's not a good attitude. That is, in Ayurveda, is in this time they say that you have not taken sannyas, you are not a sannyasi yet, and you are in the world, but now ask for respect. This is the time. Don't ask for money or something. This is the time to ask respect. So your behavior and your lifestyle and your all aura should be for respect, right? So this is one thing that you make start accepting yourself and do not fight with yourself, right? Some problems here and there, and this, okay, yeah, of course you can try to minimize it, but still accepting is a good word. And then you need to have your diet, good diet. Do not start missing the food or skipping the food or binge eating kind of stuff. Do not do that. Have proper meals, warm meals, right, to give yourself comfort, and some meditation and calm down. Not too much into the rush of this uh, public life. Little step back. Yeah, so it will be very, very helpful when you start preparing yourself for that shift. It will be very helpful because you are prepared. That is the meaning of dinacharya, ritucharya, and everything. That when the shift is going to happen, you are prepared. You are not caught unaware. Suddenly somebody, oh, okay, where is my jacket? It's cold now, right? I was prepared. I'm kept keeping my jacket. I'm keeping my water bottle. So I'm prepared, right? So dinacharya, ritucharya, and all these things make us prepared. And the same with the shift of life, that we need to be prepared, right? When we are prepared, so things will be easy. I will not say that 100% you will be fine, but it will be much easier, right?
That's so incredible. Thank you so much, Vaidya Meenakshi. And thank you so much, Vaidya Jaisri. I really want to thank you both for being here and for sharing so much with us. As you were just speaking to so many tools and ways in which we can observe dinacharya, ratricharya, ritucharya, and the rituals and these very simple and effective lifestyle routines to keep us grounded and balanced and to keep us prepared for challenges. I also take away, Vedya Jaisri, what you said about the first and last medicine meditation, such a simple tool. And thank you both so much. We've had a lovely hour, and now we're going to continue to the next part of our session, to the next hour, which is going to be led by Dr. Roza, who's a faculty member, a teacher, and an Ayurvedic practitioner. And Dr. Roza, I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, Rosa. Namaste.
It was a fantastic conversation. I was part of it the whole time. Don't mind me. I had to respond back and forth. So maybe I was on and off, but I deeply, deeply wanted to thank you, all of you. Sarah, fantastic. Happy Ayurveda Day. Truly hope today an awareness of this topic will shed a lot of lights to people who have myself been luckily involved with this wisdom, and I hope the spread of this wisdom throughout more and more people. So thank you both of you for a fantastic conversation, and thank you, Sarah. Hello, Dr. Mahesh, Sabade. I already see you. Dr. Leena, thank you. Hi. Hello, Maria is here. This is amazing. Thank you so much. It's 1 p.m. in Toronto time, and it's so hard to make this time and arrangement, and in India as well. Thank you for joining us, all of you. I would like to first say thank you for accepting my invitation. It truly means a lot. And to putting an event like this on Ayurveda Day is also truly special. So, without further ado, once again, happy Ayurveda Day to all. I would like to start with Dr. Mahesh Sabade, of course. First, those of you who know me, and this will be streaming, of course, I've been lucky enough to teach from many pioneers in Ayurveda, Smithji being my guru for in Canada, and Dr. Mahesh in India. I had a privilege to learn from you in your clinic. I went to hospital with you. So every time I see you, it's a joy. I would love for you to introduce yourself first to our audience, which is streaming in many platforms right now, and then we'll take on the conversation. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Roza. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you, and thank you for organizing this event on Ayurveda Day. So to introduce myself, I'm Vaidya Mahesh Sabade. I'm MD in Panchakarma. I have my practice in Pune for last 24, 25 years. And I have been teaching at Vedika Global, an institute in California. So now the institute is not operational in Ayurveda field. Now I'm teaching at Ananda Academy of Ayurveda, which is in Chicago.
Yes.
I'm also mentoring a couple of companies for Ayurveda products, and the main profession has always been Ayurveda practice.
Fantastic.
So this is about me. Thank
Great.
you.
Great. No problem. I was reading, too humble. Your resume was so long online that I could go on and on for your past work and fantastic 20 years, right, Dr. Mahesava? 20 years in Ayurveda?
A little more than that.
More than, even more than. The theme of today's conversation, of course, Dr. Leena as well, I will ask you the same protocol too. Please introduce yourself first, and then we'll go on to the theme of the conversation together. Please go ahead, Dr. Leena.
Sure. Namaste. Good to see you all here. Thanks for the introduction, Dr. Roza. My name's Dr. Leena Sripada, and I'm a naturopathic doctor and Ayurvedic practitioner practicing in Toronto, Canada. Ayurveda has been something that has been dear in my heart since the early years. And as you know, Ayurveda in Canada is still in its very growing, budding stages. So I did the naturopathic, sort of the Western naturopathic training, which includes, homeopathy, nutrition, counseling, and things like that. And then I had the privilege of training with Dr. Ismat in Toronto, and been practicing Ayurveda as part of my practice, with a lot of focus of bringing some of that traditional wisdom and insights into more of the modern day and more into the sort of the Western lifestyles, which are quite misaligned with some of those basic principles. So a lot of that is bringing in practical tips, practical ways of, integrating this deep knowledge into day-to-day in more of a Western context as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, the theme of today's Ayurveda Day, it's all about Ayurveda and planet. Dr. Mahesh, there's a lot of controversial about plants that we use. So the theme is for plant and planet, Ayurveda. I wanted this conversation to be a little bit more focused on, you are advising a lot of companies on Ayurveda products in terms of the safety of plants. We hear Ayurveda now. Of course, it's such a privilege to hear it's growing. On social media, we hear a lot more compared to when I got introduced to Ayurveda. This also has a lot of pros and cons. The pros are beautiful. People are getting touched by this ancient wisdom. The cons is a lot of plants also circulating under the name of natural medicine. Today's, as I said, planet and plant. What is your thoughts about the safety of these plants that people need to be careful? What advice actually you're giving, and what is your point of view on this growing trend? Let me put it this way.
Yes, Dr. Rosa. So, about the subject on plants and the planet related to Ayurveda. So, this is actually a great topic. So, we all know the information we have about the plants, which was kind of documented thousands of years ago, and we have been using them for last thousands of years on a regular basis, and we are getting benefits out of it. So, with the industrialization, with the commercialization, there are many things which may have shown some kind of unhealthy effects or something in toxic effects. And that's why people have started getting worried about herbs, whether they are helpful or not. So there are few things we need to keep in mind. So the way herbs are mentioned in Ayurvedic texts, so if we follow that path, if we follow the instructions, so then it will be helpful in almost every case. In some cases, if it doesn't work, so there could be few other factors. There's an interesting story I would like to share with you. So, you all know herb called Sarpagandha. So, Sarpagandha is a herb which is normally used for Brahma, which is dizziness, and it also works as antihypertensive herb. So this antihypertensive herb, it was so effective, and that's how like the Western medicines Western medicine caught attention of it, and then they took this herb and they extracted the active principle from it, and it was marketed by the name Reserpine, and then it was in practice for a certain period of time, I would say. And then eventually they came to know that okay, this particular drug, this particular Reserpine, or the molecule from herb Sarpagandha, is causing let's say suicidal tendencies in some patients. And with that kind of thought and that kind of statistics, so they got scared and then they stopped the medicine. So now Reserpine is out of market, nobody uses it. But at the same time, we use Sarpagandha on a regular basis as a part of our medicines. What is the difference between these two things? So here, what the Western medicine did was they took out the active principle from it, and we use the herb as a whole. So the concept and the principle that we believe in, which is holistic, which is like use herb as a whole, so that actually gives us an idea that this is how it works in all the patients. If you try to take an active principle, only one particular component from a herb, it may be effective, but the side effects it may cause, that won't be tackled, that won't be handled by the other ingredients. So now when you use the herb as a whole, so it has got like one active principle, probably reserpine, but there are few other alkaloids which are present in that herb, so they are supporting that active principle, not to show any side effects, not to show any suicidal tendencies in patients. So I would say if we stick to the principles, if we stick to the basic knowledge that we gain from the Ayurvedic text, so then I would say we don't have to worry about the toxicity part. So then we should be completely free from that. And the second part I would like to add here is that overall, when we talk about the herbs, use of herbs, so we should be able to cultivate the herbs, plantation of the herbs should be in most healthy manner. So not like commercialization and industrialization of ashwagandha plant or safed musuri plant, not like that. It should be like wild crafted herbs, or if you want to cultivate, you should cultivate them in the most natural way, and that can be beneficial for us as patients and also for the planet, and that's how it can be beneficial for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know this topic is such a vast topic. We can talk about almost all herbs in that sense, because I'm seeing it as well in the practice Ayurveda, natural medicine, it always needs to be come down to, as you said rightfully, the whole picture.
Yeah.
On that, I would like to also ask Dr. Leena. Dr. Leena, we both teach at Kayesh, and she's a fantastic colleague of mine who not only focuses on adults, but also sees a lot of patients in her naturopathic clinic as children. Dr. Leena, can you tell me this aspect, how is affecting children's health and the planet, in the sense that you want to give them some plants for their memory, you want to boost their, of course, brain function, but with all these side effects that you see, what are the measures that you're taking, or what are your advices to mothers who will be watching this stream? I think you need to unmute yourself. I cannot see. Yes, go.
Yes. Yeah, I got put on the backside. So no problem. And Rosa, Dr. Rosa, we can't see you also. I don't know if your video is on. This as a side thing.
It's okay. Yeah.
So regarding Ayurveda and the people, the planet, and kids, right? When we're looking at kids, right, this is our next generation. These are our future adults. These are the people that are going to be the torchbearers for many things. And, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I've gone through this recent journey of trying to create as best environment as we can for children, but also understanding how Ayurvedic principles can be naturally integrated into their lifestyles. Because this is the foundation. This is not only their foundation for the kids themselves, but this is the foundation for the whole society as well. So when we look at that, right, with each generation that goes by, we might see, more fast-paced, more shortcuts in terms of our eating, frozen food, eating out. There's a lot of changes if you look in the last 2-3 generations in terms of what we eat, how we do things, even our lifestyle, right? So when we're passing this on to the next generation of kids, that becomes their baseline, right? Eating chicken nuggets and eating on the go, and having leftovers and certain things like that. That becomes their baseline. And there's many people who grow up not even knowing how to cook, forget about knowing about herbs and things to integrate. So when we are looking at this next generation, we look at least in my practice, I look at how can we integrate small, simple things to add into their knowledge that become daily habits. And that could be simple things like doing a small Ayurvedic massage with sesame oil on feet, on kids before going to bed, supporting their nervous systems to sort of calm down and wind down into sleep. And when this becomes part of the habit, this becomes just something normal, right? We'll know a lot of the families that grew up having oil massages, having oil in their hair all the time, that was considered very normal. But you mentioned that to, more modern generation, and they'll say, yeah, I've seen it, I've heard of it, but we never did it. So these are like simple practices that can be part of the dinacharya, or daily practices that we can integrate in terms of kids' routine, right? So there's a lot of aspects of that. And then there's also the diet, which we can come to. When we look at herbs, right? Herbs are plants that grow in our environment, right? We have Ayurvedic herbs that grow, from the Himalayas to different places in India. We have herbs that grow in the West, in the Northern Hemisphere, some of the Western herbs, where we can apply Ayurvedic principles to those herbs as well. So the herbs are what they are, and we can figure out how to use them based on condition and concerns and things like that. When it comes to children and kids can be very sensitive, but they can also be very responsive, right? They don't need a lot, especially if they're balanced and healthy. We're not talking about specific diseases. They don't need a lot to shift things. They just need simple things on a regular basis that can support them. So herbs, if they are given even in herbal tea form or in gentle ways, can be very supportive for children. But we're also looking at how those herbs have been grown, harvested, where they've been grown. Are there pesticides involved? Are there heavy metals? Have they been grown by a roadside versus, the ashwagandha that has grown in its original habitat versus where it's grown maybe in the US in a different habitat? It's going to have different kinds of compounds even in those herbs. So that's why standardization of certain herbs, what you're giving, is also very important. because quality can vary. Your turmeric that you use in your cooking, depending where it's grown and how it's been harvested, can have very different therapeutic or medicinal properties versus a turmeric that has been grown in a different place. So that's why, even when we're talking about standardization of health products, a lot of times companies are looking at the compounds, how much of the extract is in there. And that's where we know it's more of a therapeutic or medicinal benefit versus something that's just more of a culinary herb or spice that we add for taste, and maybe we get a little bit of benefit from that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Leena. I'm not sure if you can see me, but please let me
Yes,
know.
we can.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. The technical difficulties, another Vata balancing factor in our society. Thank you, both of you, because this is a very, very important topic. Whenever we talk about Ayurveda, it's amazing to focus on doshas and imbalances, but that aspects of uh, plants are medicine, and we all agree on this. But again, as Dr. Meenakshi Joshi earlier was saying, the less is more in Ayurveda as well, right? So the precaution that I like to take that ideology and apply it in everything. When it comes to supplements, when it comes to herb, and of course, always ask a professional who knows this, which I know we have a special guest as well here that I will talk to them soon. I'm very excited for the alumni and our graduates as well to take part of this. But going back to this topic again, Dr. Mahesh, if I want to ask you, what are the things that you pay attention, or you would tell people or your patients to pay attention when they see something, for example, a supplement, a herb that is fantastic for them? You know, there's a WhatsApp chat now. It's a lot of groups going on. What would you say is the most ethical way in today's life to pay attention to these beautiful plants that are, of course, magical? But what are the things that you would suggest people to pay attention to when you are advising them or when you talk to them?
Yeah, this is a great question, but a difficult task in the clinic because there are patients who come up with so many supplements, so many things they want to introduce themselves to, and then they have been eating these things.
Yes.
Yeah, just
There's a little background noise, but that's okay.
yeah, that's good. So typically, what happens is when patients come to the clinic and they ask about can we take ashwagandha? Can we take protein powder? Can we take something else? So in such a situation, what we typically need to do is to educate them. And as a principle for a Vaidya, for a practitioner, as you correctly mentioned, Dr. Rosa, that we need to focus on doshas, like what kind of doshas are out of balance. And if you go a little deeper to that, so what Mahabhut is out of balance, which gunas are out of balance, and based on that, if you choose the right herb, so for a practitioner also, we don't need to give 10 herbs or lots and lots of herbs to a patient. We can manage the situation with the minimum amount of herbs to overall treat that particular condition. So that thought, when a practitioner has in his or her mind, so that becomes easier. So that's one thing. Second thing, when it comes to use of supplements and different other formulations to be taken alongside with Ayurvedic herbs. So as I mentioned, educating them is the most important thing. And then some are totally glued onto a particular supplement, so then we can if it fits our pathology and the treatment plan, so then at some point you can say okay, that can be taken alongside. But if anything is there, so it typically falls under the category of dietary restrictions, dietary recommendations. For example, if a person is experiencing a lot of bloating, digestive issues, and the same person is consuming protein shake on a daily basis, maybe isolate, maybe other thing, maybe pea protein, whatever. So that protein is causing some issues with the digestion. So in a situation like this, that particular protein shake is basically a causative factor for this particular condition. So as the role of a Vaidya, it is advisable to stay away from it. Let the issue gets resolved first with the help of herbs, and then you may think of it afterwards. So that can be the solution in such a situation.
Right. And I'll just add to that here while Dr. Rosa is there.
Sure.
Right? A lot of times people think more is better, right? What more can I add? What supplement is going to be good for me, right? Sometimes we just have to look and simplify.
Thank you so much. Thank
And
you. I really appreciate it. Don't mind me again. The technical things can go on, but I'm here. Thank you. So the dietary restriction is a great way for me to
No
actually
problem.
lean on this. Um, if you can hear me well and you can see me, please just let me know kindly. Dr. As children, what is your thoughts on this whole metal detoxification? And parents are asking continuously for, give me advice, what kind of supplement I can give, or the vaccination in a process. There's a high demand on metal detoxification for children. How do you advise them in the most ethical way?
so when we look at kids, right, we're looking at a generation where there is more environmental toxins as well than there was 1 or 2 generations ago. We even know there are scientific studies even showing when the embryo is in utero, there are numerous chemicals that can be detected, which is unfortunate, right? It's really sad when we hear that. However, Ayurveda also has ways of understanding how to detoxify and how to make our system resilient. We can live in a world where we kind of think, okay, I have to avoid this and I should not eat that and I cannot do this and there's so many chemicals. And we need to look at all of those factors. At the same time, Ayurveda has tools that says, okay, how do we strengthen our own resilience? How do we strengthen our Agni? How do we strengthen our detoxification so we can handle these things? When we come to kids, typically kids are usually, most kids are in a naturally balanced state, right? Their doshas, their constitution, their tendencies are all usually within a natural state. So they don't typically need intensive detoxification and panchakarma and things like that. They need more supportive, strengthening treatments and therapies, which comes from the diet, it comes from exercise, it comes from good relationships and connection and emotional support, and it can come from herbs, and it can also come from, medicines or Ayurvedic medicines that are suited for them, but they don't typically need as intense things as adults might need, right? Adults have gone through a lot of more imbalances over their lifetime. So when we talk about, vaccination exposure from, heavy metals through vaccinations or exposure of pesticides through food, yes, as much as possible, we do want to eat more fresh food. We want to eat organic. If we can grow our own food, that's amazing. In Canada, we live in a climate that does not support farming year-round. We have to import our food to be able to get that nutrition, right? But at the same time, we can also see how do we allow our own detoxification systems to work. And that can be for kids. That can be simply making sure that their elimination is happening, that they are digesting and they're eliminating, going to the bathroom every day. It's a very simple thing, but we need to look at, is their system eliminating? Are the routes of elimination open? Are you sweating, right? Through running or through activities, are we sweating, right? Are those routes of elimination open to allow natural detoxification to happen? When that's not happening, then we might need some support. Maybe it's a little bit of triphala or a little bit of herbs to support the digestive system to eliminate whatever it doesn't need. Maybe it's, abhyanga or garshana or certain kinds of massage, which gets the circulation and the lymphatic system moving. Even in children, it's not just about a massage, it's also the healing touch. Feeling that nourishment, feeling protected, feeling loved and cared for will also bring a certain resilience in their own system. That Agni will be strong when they feel supported. So, coming back to what we spoke about, when people are saying, okay, should I add in this supplement? Should I take this? I always look at, I always tell patients, we first need to look at your Agni. Because if your Agni is not good, especially if we're looking at your digestive strength, if it's not good, you can take the most expensive, the best supplements, you can have the best treatment plan, but it's not going to get absorbed, it's not going to work properly. So first we need to strengthen that Agni, so that then we integrate these things into the treatment plan, into your daily routine, but more is not always better. And that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Leena. Fantastic. As I said, this is such a vast topic that we can go on and on about this, but this was very, very insightful on both ends. Thank you so much. Dr. Mahesh, if I want to ask you, if I may, when we say planet, how do you think Ayurveda can actually incorporate all these beautiful ecosystem advising to our patients to say as wear barefoot on the ground, let's say, get as much as sunrise as possible, how we are actually can manifest this in the daily routine of dinacharya and ritacharya for our patients.
Dr. Sabade, you're on mute.
You're mute.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So, can you please repeat the question? There was some interruption. I didn't get it clearly.
Oh, I do apologize. If you can hear me well now. No.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Okay. It's about the
No, it's
planets.
perfect.
Okay. When we say Ayurveda and the planets, all these dinacharya and ritacharya, and the benefit of them, of course, before we wanted to go into the herb or supplementation, what is your advice? How can people incorporate all these routines, like the sunrise as much as you can, or be in the nature? How do you think this is important and how much value it has before we jump into supplementation to incorporate all of this before?
Absolutely great question. Because this is something which is happening all around the world. Like a typical scenario, I would share with you all, and you all agree, you must be seeing it around you also. Like staying up at night and waking up late in the morning. So, this is the first thing that happens with the lifestyle of many individuals. So, staying up at night, so that allows Vata and Pitta to go up, and waking up late in the morning after sunrise, and sometimes beyond 9, 10. So that allows more kapha to get accumulated inside the body. So in a situation like this, over a period of time, when you are habitual of this kind of lifestyle, you tend to accumulate all three doshas. And as long as you do not have any weak spot vulnerability in the body, you may not manifest any disease. But this accumulation of doshas, this imbalance of doshas, has strong potential to eventually create some disease. So that's why this is changing this particular habit is very important. And with this habit, everything gets completely messed up because people wake up late in the morning. So either they will have late breakfast and then late lunch, and everything gets shifted onward, forward. So that's not ideal. So usually to my patients, to anyone whom I come in contact with, I mention to them, I specifically suggest them to adjust their sleep cycle. Try to wake up as early as possible, even if you cannot attend Brahma Muhurta, which is 48 minutes before sunrise. At least wake up with the sun. Don't wake up after sunrise. So try to inculcate that habit. And another important thing which I usually like to begin with, whenever a patient comes, you cannot bombard all the things in the first go, but first few things which I feel are really important. So is changing the sleep cycle. And the second most important thing is to have lunch around noontime. So noontime, when the sun is at its apex, so our digestive capacity is also at its best. So if we plan our lunch around noontime, so I'm not saying exactly at 12, but let's say somewhere between 11:30 and 1 or up to 1:30. So that can be the time where you can finish your lunch. And if you are having your lunch at that time, accordingly you plan your breakfast and accordingly plan your dinner. So typically what happens is people have late breakfast, so they will have something around 10. And if it's a heavy breakfast, so they don't feel hungry till 2 3, and then the lunch happens this late, and then the dinner goes beyond 9 10. So this kind of habit disturbs everything, disturbs every dosha. So to address this particular problem, addressing lunch primarily, that is very important. So if you woke up late in the morning, skip your breakfast but focus on your lunch. That's the main meal of your day. And with this, I try to manage every possible thing. Like in certain situations, like Abhyanga is very much important. Ideally it is important for almost everyone, I would say, like oil massage on a daily basis. But for certain individuals who are suffering from vata disorders, pains, aches, stiffness, so for them introducing oil massage on a regular basis, preferably in the morning time, so that becomes one of the most important things for their relief in their symptoms. So that, along with some exercise, and then the primary things like sleep, your meal timings, and not taking naps, not eating heavy meals. So those kinds of practices actually improve health in a better way to begin with, and then slowly you can actually introduce them to a complete dinacharya. So that becomes very much helpful. So that was one part of your question, Dr. Rosa. Then Rutucharya, the seasonal regimen, that also plays an amazing role in overall maintaining the health. So one of the most common things I would typically see is that, let's say, spring allergies, pollen allergies. So yes, we can understand, we can agree that pollens are the allergens, but they will act on your body only when you already have kapha accumulated in your body. So if you keep your kapha at the baseline, so then these pollens, even though you get exposed to them, you won't immediately get any kind of pollen reaction, like pollen allergies, sneezing, cold, those kinds of things. And to keep your doshas, let's say, at the baseline or in their range of health, so for that you need to follow dinacharya and certainly rutucharya. So usually what I recommend to patients who are suffering from allergies, that okay, it's the winter time, you need to eat healthy because your agni is good, you can digest the food, you can metabolize the food, you can regain some strength in your tissues, you replenish your tissues very well. But at the same time you need to do some exercise and you need to do oil massage. So when you combine these three things together, so you make sure there is no excess kapha accumulated in the body. So there will be some kapha because of winter, but it won't be excess, which will get manifested in form of sneezing and cold as the spring comes. So these kinds of changes, when you apply in your practice, that can certainly become helpful to, I mean, first of all, to all Vaidyas and to all patients, all clients. So that's how you can incorporate these things, and that becomes excellent, helpful for everyone. If time permits, I would give you one quick
Sure,
example about pitta. So
please.
nowadays, what we can see in my practice in India, that people tend to eat a lot of spicy things. Like people, I mean, not just in India, but I would say in patients who are from US also, like overall tendency to eat spicy food, consumption of alcohol, staying up at night. So all these things are increasing pitta in almost every individual. So pitta is on rise constantly, and then if we do not address it properly, so that's where it gets manifested into something which is a pitta related symptom, pitta related disease. So taking care of all these things based on seasons, based on your agni, and certainly based on your dinacharya. So then we can certainly keep a balance of doshas, maintain our agni, and we can replenish our dhatus very well. Because finally, health is this is only like you have to keep replenishing your dhatus and maintain your uh, doshas with good support from agni. So that can certainly be beneficial. So I always recommend these two things to all my patients.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was amazing, especially with an example. This is fantastic. And now on the same track, Dr. Leena, same question on children. How would you ask parents to incorporate dinacharya and vitacharya for children, since it will be a lot harder?
So I think, very good question. So I think we always need to start with the adults or the parents. I know when we're thinking about kids, we tend to focus on what do the kids need, and parents kind of forget themselves in the hustle bustle of work and managing family. But kids will always emulate what the adults are doing, especially small kids. Their first exposure is going to be at home with the family members around, whether that's parents or grandparents or other close family members or other siblings. So we always need to bring that focus back to the mom, to the dad, to the parents on what are they integrating into their day-to-day routine. It could be, are they doing the abhyanga? Are they eating meals at a certain time? What is their routine? And I think that's always the first question to say, what are the parents or the family members doing? We might say, okay, kids, you got to get to bed, have your dinner early, and then the parents are staying late, having late dinner and watching TV. So kids are going to pick up on those patterns, even if we tell them different things. So that's the first thing that we need to do. Look at our own behavior, look at our own patterns, and then we look at, okay, from a kid's perspective, what are the things that are more suitable for their growth and their development that we now can integrate. So, as each generation goes by, we lose that disconnection from nature. Back a generation or two ago, there was no electricity. We had to do things in the daytime. We got up with the sun, and then we would wind down after sunset. We would naturally have our last meal, usually before the sunset. Now we can have blaring lights, we can stay up late and not even know that the sun has set. So now it takes a little bit more of an effort or conscious effort to bring that back. And even for children, that is a good establishment. Even with my youngest one, who's just 3, what I've noticed, the kids don't have that sense of time as much, right? They live in the present. But what I noticed is she will look outside and she'll ask the question, is it nighttime? Is it dinner time? It's dark outside? Is it night now? Is it daytime? And I'm noticing she's looking outside the window and then asking that question. And that's the way she's gauging. And that's beautiful because kids are looking naturally to what's happening outside and then trying to figure that out. It doesn't matter whether it's 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. They're looking at what's outside and asking if it's night. So bringing that awareness is the first part for kids to also integrate that and know that we try to wake up with the sunrise, and there's certain things we do in the morning. We try to have our lunch at the main midday. We try to have our dinner before the sun sets. After the sun sets, we do winding down activities. And those winding down activities might be listening to some gentle music or reading some stories, or it might be integrating a little bit of oil massage. Something simple like sesame or whatever oil on the feet and on the tummy. I know my kids also, sometimes it's hard, it's busy, there's so much stuff going on, but we try to make that a small routine. Everybody gets their little bit of oil and they rub it on their tummies, and they like that. And I know there will be phases where it may not happen, or phases where they might lose interest and resist it. But when we integrate that as part of the routine, this is a foundation. Children will usually come back to those patterns later on in life if they've been exposed to that in early childhood. So that might be a simple abhyanga. That might be simple stretching, or, it doesn't have to be a sequence of yoga, but we're just talking about waking the system up. That might be a very simple thing, just as drinking water in the morning, first thing when you're waking up. A lot of adults, the first thing they go to is their coffee or their tea without even drinking the water first. Very, very simple thing. But if we get kids to also drink that water, and preferably even warm water, right? Especially in a cooler climate, in the falls and winters here, we need to drink that warm water first thing in the morning. we do those habits on a regular basis, kids will naturally pick that up. We don't have to tell them. They will know it doesn't feel right to have cold water, or it doesn't feel right to have a cold smoothie with ice first thing in the morning. They're naturally in tune with their system to a certain extent. As adults, we veer off from that, being misaligned with nature. So for kids, it's only just supporting that, allowing their own systems to be supported. And that's where Ayurvedic wisdom is, it's a system of living. It's not just a medicine, it's not just a herb, it's a whole science of how we do our daily things. We might see it's a checklist of I have to do this dinacharya. I have so many things to do in the morning, I don't have time. Right? It's not just a checklist to do. This is a way of living. And that way of living can be very organic and natural when we integrate it, when it becomes part of our lifestyle. It's not just something that's been prescribed to us. So for children, when we integrate that into our lives, it can be one or two things, but consistency. A lot of people get excited about the next new fad or the next new diet or the next new thing, but that consistency. Sometimes it seems boring, drinking your water in the morning. It's not exciting, but this is a foundation. If we have that good foundation for ourselves and kids, they will also grow up to being healthy adults as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Leena and Dr. Mahesh. This is, again, it's very important for me to incorporate before we jump into the supplement, before we jump into the herbs. There's a lot of tools in Ayurveda that can help us. And on that note, I would like to bring out another guest speaker, if that's okay, for both of you, and then we can incorporate the conclusion part of it. Surbi, dear Surbi, also, she has worked so hard for Ayurveda, encouraging a lot of people with many platforms and organizing events under Purna Wellness. Dear Surbi, if you can hear me, what is your take on, first of all, happy Ayurveda Day? And I would like to ask you your work on this path of, you're promoting a lot about Dinacharya, Ritucharya, many events. What is your take on this when you're hearing this from these two beautiful doctors?
I honestly, I'm the audience here, and I feel extremely honored. Just want to be here to listen to the wonderful professional experts. So I'm just so honored to just listen in. So yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here and celebrating with you, Roza, Dr. Moradi. It's such an honor.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Survi. I introduced you, but again, you can introduce a little bit in more details about this as well. When you hear Dr. Leena or when you hear Dr. Mahesh talking about this, Dinacharya, Rutacharya, or even Ayurveda as a whole, and planets and plants, and with everything that you're actually doing, what do you think? Is it growing? You see the improvements in people requesting or even just being more curious about your events attending?
So I think the fact that um, we're and we've celebrated Ayurveda Day in 2019 together. There was Dr. Ismat, and then we brought together the community in 2018, 2019, right? So I think the conference also that you guys have organized in 2017. So you've seen the progression over the years. And I really see that there is a deep desire. There's definitely there's a desire from women anywhere ranging from their 30s to 40s to 50s and beyond. There is definitely, and I'm sure a lot of you work with clients, so you also see that. But I also see the challenge that they they feel stretched to find that time to commit and do those practices, or to come out and learn, or to even um, prioritize their own well-being. So I'm sure you see that across, and that's where I feel uh, our work is so important, to be available, to be accessible, and to be in front of people. So that's really where Purna for me is, how do we make sure that more and more people are able to be reminded of the importance of this work. So yeah, I'm really yeah, I'm so grateful to all the work that you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are so lucky to have you in the community as well. And just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do, dear Surbi, on behalf of Purna Wellness. Dr. Mahesh, when you work both in India and in US and you teach, what is the difference between celebrating Ayurveda Day in the West and in India? What is the main difference?
That's a difficult question. But I would say, Ayurveda Day, the way it started, it was basically Dhanvantari Jayanti that used to be part of Diwali celebration. So we used to have, I mean, we typically have on Dhanvantari Jayanti, Dhanvantari Yag, puja with Homa. So that is usually done on Dhanvantari Jayanti. So nowadays Ayurveda Day is on 23rd of September. So no Dhanvantari Yag on this day, but it happens in Diwali. In US, what we have celebrated so far is in form of, let's say, gathering together, doing Dhanvantari Pujan, and having a similar kind of discussion, similar kind of conference, and sharing thoughts on different kinds of subjects. So not a lot of difference, but the place is different, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, the Ayurveda focuses on a lot on senses, a lot just about being and just be. And among us, we have graduates and also current students as well, an aromatherapist as well. Her name is Maria. I was so honored to teach the group of the students. And Maria also works a lot with aromatherapy. And the reason is I'm trying to bring in everybody from different fields, and I'm trying my best to celebrate this on today. Is to pay attention also to senses, right? We hear a lot, we talk about, benefits and pros and cons of herbs, but also the sensation that Ayurveda emphasizes a lot that has to do with planets, both and plant. It takes a huge role in my own practice, and I'm sure with both of you as well. I would love for Maria to just give us a slight, whatever you like to talk about Ayurveda, the impact of it in your life, and how aromatherapy is helping you to just gain more attention and work along the line of Ayurveda just simply by working on aromatherapy. How has that opened the door for you? I would love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm very excited and honored to be here with everybody today. So thank you, first of all. Aromatherapy, yes. Our sense of smell is something that is so underutilized, I think, and it can have profound effects on our overall well-being. So, as it was stated earlier during the first part of the session, we can smelling the function of smelling triggers an emotional and mental states and can bring us balance, grounding, whatever we may need in the moment. So it's a very easy tool to use and incorporate within day to day, and that's what I like to work with people on. And of course, I use it in my reflexology practice as well, because the sense of touch with aromatherapy is very profound. And you have kind of integrate all of all of five senses on a daily basis. I think is something that we here in North America don't do enough, or we don't pay attention to that enough. Sitting on the ground, walking barefoot, having that connection with the earth on a daily basis. During the winter, put your hands in some dirt in a potted plant at home. Diffuse something in the air that makes you feel great, like grounded or joyful. and that's part of also why I like Ayurveda as well, or I fell in love with Ayurveda, because first I started seeing Ismat Nathani myself 15 years ago, and it's really taught me to have this relationship with myself. It's a very empowering practice, and it's just such a lovely, loving practice. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything about how the Ayurveda impacts or your wishes on your Ayurveda day, Maria?
My wishes on Ayurveda Day, to reach as many people as possible, for us to enjoy the benefit of what we have available to us on a daily basis and honor that. The connection that it brings, the health that it brings, the alignment, and then a really deep appreciation for ourselves, like our inner self is what I wish.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. It's always great to see beautiful people who are interested in Ayurveda and your classes speaking on Ayurveda Day. It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Dr. Leena, on that note, Dr. Joshi in the first part of conversation was talking about how it's great to maintain with one smell in daily practices. One smell for meditation, one smell for sleeping, for the kid's mind, and also the sense of the smell to be aligned as well. And now Maria is talking about, the touch of soil, the plants. Dr. Mahesh is talking about that diet case study of pitta case. What do you think? How do you think we can decrease this but toxicity? For example, if I tell this in Toronto to a lot of patients, and they're to let your kids play with dirt, they won't do that, or they will just be very afraid of the infection, the lower immunity, etc. What do you think is the best way to approach this, to ease their mind and say, okay, this is okay to this extent? What does that extend to you when it comes down to toxicity levels?
So I think, in what I was mentioning before, some of it comes down to the parents. Kids naturally want to play in dirt. If you look at it, they're curious. They want to play in dirt. It's usually the parents that, time over time saying, oh, you'll get dirty, and oh, we'll have to wash your clothes. And it is a hassle. It's a headache, But a lot of it stems from that conditioning through the parents of saying, don't do this, don't do that, you'll get dirty. There's a lot of germs. And then that slowly, imbibes in the kid. But if you look at their natural tendency, like even small 1-year-old kids, they want to squat, they want to play in the dirt, they want to put it in their mouth, they want to experiment. So, I remember back in the day in my naturopathic training, our immunologist doctor was just saying, she would always come back to the line of just eat dirt, just eat dirt. When it comes to allergies, just eat dirt. Like, kids should be exposed to that. And that is one of the best ways of preventing allergies. And it sounds really simple and it sounds funny. But when we look at modern day kids having so many allergies, now it's not just the peanuts. It's also other things like coconuts. And then it's other kinds of nuts and seeds. And then you go to school and then there's a whole list of things that you cannot send your kid in with because of allergies. And these are serious allergies. We're talking about anaphylactic allergies, and we have to be careful because the immune systems are now so underexposed to those germs, to that dirt, that now they're overreacting to things. So it all comes down to bringing it back to nature, right? The body has an intelligence. The body knows. The immune system has an intelligence. We need to just maintain that intelligence and bring it back if it's gone off. So on one hand, yes, in modern day, there are more pollutants, there are more chemical exposures. Obviously, you're not going to go to certain areas where there is sewage waste or things like that and play in the dirt there. But technically, forests in many of the urban areas still have so much, microflora as well. There's research showing, now we have to research to show everything, but there's research that just by touching your hands in the dirt, those microorganisms in the dirt actually respond, our system responds to that and makes serotonin. Our own bodies will respond to that. And we feel a natural sense of joy and happiness just by being in contact with the earth and those microbes. So Ayurveda has always understood there's a deep connection between us and nature. The more we divert from that, the more our systems will go out of balance. We're talking about physical health issues, mental health issues, and so many other things. So the more we bring ourselves back to the simplicity, to the connection with nature, a lot of these diseases and a lot of these issues will also start to automatically settle down a bit, right? We're going in a wind-up mode now. We want to kind of unwind all of that. So it sounds easy when people are living in, condos or big, even in the Indian cities. We're talking about a lot of pollution. We're talking about people living on, 20th, 30th, 50th floors. It's about trying to bring that nature in whatever way you can. We have many modern conveniences, which are great, but it might be planting for kids, right? Planting plants on a balcony, having a little bit of a tulsi, a holy basil, or a lavender, or small plants that can be kept on the balcony that kids can touch, they can feel, and they can connect. They can also eat it, they can also taste it, they can smell it. They will naturally be curious, and when they go out into the forest or out on the street, they will naturally start to look at it. Even with my kids, the small things that I've been able to show, like in our backyard, when we're going out for walks, even though they're really small, they start recognizing it, and they'll say, oh, that looks like this plant, and that looks like that plant. I'm not teaching them botany, I'm not teaching them anything structured, but they're starting to recognize that. So if we can tune into the kids' natural, innate sense of wanting to learn and curiosity, they will want to play in the dirt. They will want to be in nature. It's a very natural thing.
Thank you so much. I know we're almost, the time is there, and I still have a few more guest speakers to talk to. However, I just wanted to give, because again, everybody's time is limited. I understand that. Dr. Mahesh Sabade, if I wanted to ask you to conclude this before I give some time again with other guest speakers. I know your time is very valuable and the time difference, I understand. With everything going on, let's say in India, you've seen a lot of pollution. In North America, you see a lot of auto activation of stress. So the mental toxins and environmental toxins are always there. They're not disappearing per se. What would you say as a conclusion of today's topic, how we can incorporate, despite all these toxins, to stay healthy under the alignments of Ayurveda?
Yeah, sure. So overall, first of all, as the core principle of Ayurveda, which Ayurveda has always been promoting, is you have to keep your Agni good, you have to keep your doshas under control and replenish your dhatus. So this is like the fundamental thought behind every Ayurvedic support, Ayurvedic remedy. And when you achieve this kind of good health, so it reflects on your mind also. So if your body is healthy, mind will try to remain healthy. And then your thoughts, your emotions, your cravings, everything will be under control. So maintaining this kind of healthy environment for us and for the closed ones, for our clients, for our patients, so that can certainly change the overall scenario of the world. And let's say if every individual has got a better health and better psyche, better thoughts, their behavior, that will also be much healthier. So with this, we can work together and we can certainly create a better environment for all of us. So this is something we can continue doing it, not just for Ayurveda Day, but on a regular basis, and that can be healthy for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Speaking of Agni, there's someone here, her name is Hina. When it comes down to Ayurveda and cooking, we all point at Hina. She is fantastic in her remedies. She makes ghee on social media that I can almost smell it from Instagram. I just wanted to ask you, Hina, I know, sorry for the wait, but again, the conversation just flows. Don't mind me, please. Happy Ayurveda Day. How are you incorporating that Agni building that Dr. Mahesh is talking about in your cooking?
First of all, namaste, and thank you for the honor of including me on this beautiful conversation on this amazing day of Ayurveda. I feel like, you know, in a corporation or in a work environment, there are teams of people that are assigned duties and jobs based on their credentials. I feel like we're creating this team amongst all of us Ayurveda doctors, enthusiasts, people who want the world and the planet to be just a healthy and beautiful place that we can all call home. So, thank you so much for having me as part of this conversation. And Rosa, thank you for the kind words and always being the cheerleader for all of us to keep going. And it's not easy, right? We all know that teaching people new ways and talking about old habits that need to be revisited, and so it's a very tedious task in front of us, but together as a team, I feel, especially in Toronto, there's so many of us that are so talented in so many different fields within Ayurveda, that I see it just blossoming. So thank you, Rosa, for that. And as far as Ayurveda is concerned, one word comes to mind when it comes to diet. It's Mahabhaisajya, which is food is superior medicine. So tapping into the plant, herbs, medicine, and the daily ahar, vihar, even our thoughts around food, very, very important, right? So management of diet and digestion, lifestyle, behavior, everything is impacted with the choices that we make. And keeping the healthy body healthy, right? So that is where food comes in. And it is definitely my passion to create and use as many herbs and spices and promote good food as part of what I do here in Toronto.
Thank you so much, Hina. We're so grateful to have you in Toronto. As I said, the way you make delicious Ayurveda food is just, it's yummy. And I can also always, when I'm looking at your activities, I feel very, very proud and honored.
Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you, all of you, for being here. I would like to give a few, opportunity to, of course, the pioneers, Dr. Jaisri, you're here, Dr. Joshi, Dr. Mahesh. If there's anything you would like to add, I know Dr. Leena has a patient, and she messaged me already before that she needs to leave. But if there's anything that we can actually get as much as wisdom as possible from you, I'm here to listen, Dr. Jaisri.
Oh, thank you so much. It was wonderful. And my heartfelt namaskaram to Ismaji. And, we've been colleagues all these long years together, East Coast and West Coast. And she's definitely a sister, true heart sister. And most of us are presenting educational programs. Keish is presenting educational programs, Ayurveda seminars and consulting. My website, we offer mentorship for practitioners as well as the 5 pillars of Ayurveda for beginners. And there are many ways in which we will continue to function together as a community for helping to bring this important Ayurveda to Canada.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaisri. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Joshi, would like to hear a few words from you as well.
Thanks for having us. And it was a great conversation. And I hope your audience would be getting some knowledge out of it, or will be taking it in their benefit. It's nice to know that what all you are doing here. And certainly it will be a very good social step to help people, particularly in the age where this sensory overuse is there. And you need to be really grounded, and lots of mental health issues are already on rise. And I just say thanks to you, all your efforts, and it was a very beautifully organized. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Rosa. Thank you, and Sarah, and Dr. Jaisri, Dr. Mahesh, and Reena, and all others. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
My absolute pleasure. Dr. Mahesh Sabade, let's hear from you as well.
Thank you, Dr. Rosa. Thank you, Ismatji, for organizing this event. Thank you for having me. And I would like to just say a shloka. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. So let all be happy and let all be healthy. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. What a beautiful way to conclude the meeting. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, spending your time with us. We all got our sensory indulgence today, I think. Thank you very much. I know that this time is very valuable. I am so honored to be here with you, as it touched Ayurveda touched my heart and my soul almost 5 years ago. And I will do my best, as along with Ismaji and Kayesh, and be part of it, to just promote it, talk about it without any borders of language, religion, and just get as much as audience as possible. Thank you very much. Stay healthy, stay happy, and may today will shed a light to everybody's soul about Ayurveda. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Namaskar. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.